What is going on there, everyone? Well, of course, I got a lot of footage from the rally. Nothing too special. I mean, it couldn't have been more perfect of a rally with so many, you know, politically different and ideologically different people coming together for a true cause, a cause in which everyone stood behind, and it was a thing of beauty. I mean, you had Proud Boys, you had Antifa, you had the Black Panthers, you had conservatives, you had Democrats. Everyone was there, no problems, because everyone was supporting the Second Amendment. That's what it was all about, and it was a thing of beauty. It was unexpected. I I I gotta admit, I kind of was nervous myself, and yeah, there was really nothing to be nervous of once you got out there. The feeling in the air was good, and the good law enforcement presence and all this. I still did not like the caged in areas that the governor put out there, but yeah, we all know what he's about. But let's get into some of what the media is talking about, because it's pretty hilarious. Because this was brought up as, oh my gosh, it's a bunch of white nationalists, this, that, and the other, gonna be there. I mean, MSNBC said this was a white nationalist protest, and all of the media couldn't have been more wrong. So even I was wrong, because I was worried that Antifa was gonna start a problem, and they didn't. They marched alongside everybody, and like I said, everything was very copacetic. But let's get into this story. The media was desperate, but Virginia's gun rally proved them all wrong. And like I said, all the footage I got, I'm probably going to have to upload it to BitChute because there's music in it, this, that, and the other. Stuff that YouTube will not like and could flag the video or whatever, Y'all know how it is here lately. But yeah, for this year's Virginia gun rights rally, media outlets and reporters worked to spread misinformation, constructing the narrative that the rally was populated with extremists and white nationalists, and was likely to turn violent. None of that was true. Absolutely not. Like I said, you had all these people from different walks of life, different organizations, who never, ever would generally come together in support of each other, and that's exactly what happened. Everyone came together and supported the cause. It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. While he didn't start the misinformation, Ben Collins, NBC's disinformation and extremism reporter, became one of its more notable faces when he urged reporters on Sunday to verify facts as they covered the white supremacist rally. Yeah, that's what they were. The media did this all over the place. It wasn't just NBC. It was everywhere. Collins deleted the tweet amid a fierce backlash, but not before attempting to justify the error by drawing on a handful of anecdotes. Following a commonality for many erroneous reports the Daily Caller reviewed, Collins cited a story about law enforcement officials busting a few suspected neo-Nazis who were allegedly planning some kind of violence in Richmond. The men reportedly had weapons and were talking about attending the rally. One illegally crossed the border from Canada. And right on for the FBI. I did a video on this. Awesome. Those are the type of people, whether they're right-leaning or left-leaning, that need to be pretty much weeded out because they don't help anybody. They don't help anybody. So get them out of here. And here's the tweets from Ben Collins. Hi, everybody. I'm deleting a tweet so I can be super clear about tomorrow's rally in Virginia. The Lobby Day protest is and has traditionally been a gun rights rally, but many white nationalists, including militant group The Base, have been planning violent actions at the event. Another tweet from him on the same thread. This has led to 2 different FBI arrests of total 7 people. The governor declared a state of emergency, citing credible intelligence of hate groups attending. Users on white nationalist forums planned meetups for months, and a contrast to previous years. Yeah, none of that stuff actually, nothing went down. There was none of that there. I don't think anyone there in their right mind would have tried. Because even though the governor, declared a state of emergency, banned weapons, yeah, there were plenty of weapons there. Everyone there that had a weapon. Virginia's an open carry state, and they used their constitutional rights to carry their weapons, and couldn't have felt safer. Couldn't have felt safer. It was wonderful. Even Alex Jones was there in his armored vehicle. It was awesome. He's sitting there hanging out of the top of it, just yelling a bunch of stuff. It was awesome. It was awesome. Axios followed suit, publishing an article early Monday titled, "As Richmond Braces for Hate, Americans Say Relations Are Getting Worse." Not really. Not really. Unless you live in one of these liberal stronghold cities, no one's talking about race relations because that's not a worry for most. Most people don't think about that stuff. It seems to be only these liberal, and I use the term liberal loosely because liberals historically are actually pretty good. It's these progressive liberals. Yeah, they just preach nonsense. That's all it is. That's all it is. The article suggests that a worst-case scenario could result in the gun rally being another Charlottesville, a white supremacist and neo-Nazi rally that turned deadly in 2017. That's what the media wanted to happen. That's what they wanted to happen. I don't think any regular citizen in their right minds wants anything like that to happen, because that was tragic no matter how you look at it, and ridiculous. It's just something that shouldn't have happened. And I have to blame the police and law enforcement for that one, because they weren't enforcing anything. They let the situation get out of hand. I blame them for that. My bad. Sorry, police. Usually I'm on your side, but not in that case. Monday's event, however, was not organized by white supremacists. The gun rally was the product of the non-profit Second Amendment group, Virginia Citizens Defense League, which I am a proud card-carrying member. They do a lot for people's rights. Axios also cited 3 suspected neo-Nazis arrested by the FBI before the event, which Collins had noted. Approximately 22,000 people ended up attending Monday's peaceful rally. Yeah, it was a sea of people. It was a sea of people, because they had the area that the governor, the corral that he wanted to put it, that corral couldn't have even attempted to hold everybody. There were people spilling out blocks and blocks away. It was awesome. On a day that is meant to celebrate what would have been the 91st birthday of the civil rights leader, Martin Luther King Jr., the nation is grappling with emboldened white nationalist groups and racial tension, Axios wrote, linking the rally with extremist hate groups. Thanks, media, and Axios usually does some decent reporting. Surveys show a majority of Americans believe race relations are getting worse under President Trump. I'd like to know where those surveys are coming from. I have a feeling they're coming from liberal cities. They're not asking flyover state people. The media's misinformation only continued as the rally began Monday. NBC anchor, this is the guy I was talking about, Craig Melvin began his show NBC Live with Craig Melvin by pushing the line that white nationalists and militia members were all put in one place for the rally. This is the scene in Richmond, Melvin said, showing an aerial view of the rally. They put white nationalists, militias, groups, and supporters of background checks for gun purchases all in one place. A lot of folks, justifiably so, are worried about a repeat in Charlottesville. It didn't happen. There were people out there that were, counter protesters, but you know what? They kind of kept their heads. The protesters kept their heads, and everything worked out. This is what one of the things I was harkening back to with the left coast and the right coast. The East Coast over here, things are generally more chill until you get to the north, like Boston and stuff like that. But down here in the southern states, everything's always a little bit more calm for the most part. For the most part, yes, we have our incidents. Everyone does. But it's not like the left coast where protests go out of control because, the police hands are tied and all this stuff. And the protesters are allowed to just run amok and do whatever they want. Yeah, that doesn't quite happen here. Like I said, the Capitol Police around Richmond and everything did a fine job. They did a fine job. Meanwhile, from start to finish, there was never an indication that white nationalists attended the event in any serious numbers, according to dozens of reports on the ground. And the only prominent instances the caller could find of people worrying about a repeat of Charlottesville were among journalists themselves. Yeah, I did see some of the left's Twitterati tweeting out all kinds of dumb stuff like, oh, good job. You shouldn't be proud, Virginians. All you did was make the people of Richmond scared for a day. Why are you scared? If people's constitutional rights scare you, you should probably move to another country where, people don't have those rights. If you're scared. Because, I mean, how do you leave your house during the day? I don't get it. People like that are strange. Melvin did not provide evidence backing his claim. He later pushed the same inaccuracies, saying thousands of white nationalists have descended into Virginia's capital Monday. I didn't personally see anybody spouting anything racial there. And like I said, I was seeing white people that were clearly in militias. They were walking by. I was seeing black people with their Black Guns Matter shirts, which I absolutely loved because, they're the ones who get affected the most statistically by gun laws. It's just, I guess it's just, they tend to live in the more urban areas, and the urban areas get hit the hardest with gun laws and gun regulation. So I guess that's why. But yeah, to see them out there with their AR-15s, their MP5s, and everything, their shotguns, I loved it. I loved to see it because there you go, law-abiding citizen showing practicing his constitutional rights, and God bless him for it, man. It really was inspiring. Town Hall senior reporter Julio Rosas, who was on the ground in Richmond, documented various instances debunking the media's white nationalist claims. Here's some tweets. In addition to quite a few people being armed with rifles in Richmond, there's also quite a few Governor Northam yearbook pictures on signs. Oh yeah. People were lighting him up with meme signs. It was awesome. It was such a fun event. I'm so glad nothing bad happened because I can actually talk about it in a light way. Wow, look at all these white nationalists. Yeah, and you can see from these pictures, Virginia's a very diverse place. Very diverse. I mean, one of the things Virginia's known for is our huge immigrant communities and this, that, and the other. So, I don't know what they were. I don't know why the media was expecting just a bunch of white nationalist types to come out. No, not at all. I mean, have you seen the majority of the hunt clubs in Virginia? That's the most diverse group of people you'll see. A bunch of rednecks, white and black, going out hunting together, having a good time. I know that doesn't happen in these liberal cities. That's why I always say people need to get out of the city once in a while. Because you're stuck in your little tribes. You only see what you hear. You don't actually see any of the things you're afraid of. The caller also spoke to Maj Touré. I hope I said that right. Probably didn't. Political activist and founder of the Black Guns Matter movement. Well, now that I know who you are, I really apologize for saying your name wrong. Because I support y'all. Regarding the prevalence of misinformation among major media outlets, he contended that journalists with political agendas have an interest in chaos regarding gun coverage. He also contested the narrative that race and violence played a role in Monday's rally. And there you go. There you go, media. There you go. Everyone's calling the media out for their nonsense. But yeah. Gotta love it, man. Got to love it. There's few things that'll truly bring Americans together. And at least government tyranny is one of them. Thank goodness for all of us. Still, MSNBC's Cal Perry continued to stoke the fires on Melvin's show, reporting on the heavily armored or armed people in attendance. Of course, it's our right to do that. You do understand that, don't you? I know you're sitting there in your ivory tower, but Come on, get real. These heavily armed people were not violent, as CNN's own reporter eventually acknowledged. 0 people were arrested for violence during Monday's rally. 1 person was arrested nearby for violating an anti-mask law, Virginia Mercury reported, which was nonsense, man. Come on, man. Those anti-mask laws, I get it to a point, to an extent. Like, I understand the laws that where if you carry out a crime while wearing a mask, you get even more, trouble. Sure. But the police were out there wearing masks. It was a cold, brisk 37 to 39 degree day. People should be allowed to wear them. But yeah, the government don't like that either. So apparently here in Virginia, yeah, you're not allowed to do that. That's one little freedom you can't have. 1 person was arrested nearby for the anti-mask violation. Around 7,000 of approximately 22,000 attendees remained in the gun-free zone at the Capitol, and around 15,000 people were in the streets where guns were allowed. Curtis Hoke, the managing editor at Newsbusters, put together a montage encapsulating the massive effort to misinform Americans about the nature of Monday's rally. Yeah, well, that's the thing. The national media made it seem like this was some type of hate rally. The whole time they were talking about it, they were just saying, "Oh, it's a white nationalist. It's a militia rally." It's pathetic, but this is what you get. Here's Curtis Hoke's tweet. Hashtag new montage from me showing how CNN and MSNBC spent their mornings hyping fears that white nationalists and extremists would cause violence at a hashtag Virginia rally for the two-way, like in 2017 at Charlottesville. Yeah, none of that happened. I don't think the people there would have let anything happen. Like I said, like they even stated, everyone was heavily armed. We know that the media smears marches they hate, Washington Examiner commentary editor Timothy Carney summed up after the event. Guns like abortions and all-boys Catholic schools are a cultural war issue. We know that we know what side 90% of the media industry is on. Everybody should admit it. It doesn't even have to be admitted. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. Even the people that are like, "Oh, the media doesn't do nothing wrong." They know it. To exemplify Carney's point, MSNBC's Chris Hayes capped the outlet's coverage of the rally by calling it an explicit threat of violence. That's pretty weak, Just seeing a gun is a threat? Fighting for your constitutional rights is a threat? But the implicit and explicit message of a bunch of heavily armed people marching on the state's capital is this: don't you dare enact your policies. If you do, we will use these guns against you, Hayes claimed Monday evening. That's not exactly the case, buddy. That's not exactly the case, you moronic fearmonger. No, we're just saying you can see our weapons, but you ain't gonna take them. Simple as that. We own the government. We, the people, own that government. It's our votes that put them there. It's our money that pays their salaries. They work for us, not the other way around. Americans need not forget that. The government's already 1,000 times more powerful than our founding fathers would have ever allowed it to be. So just remember that every time you hear a politician say, "That's not what our founding fathers would want," just remember, they have no idea what our founding fathers would want. Because our founding fathers were dang near anarchists when it came to the government. Just remember that. But like I said, I will have some footage from the event and everything. It'll probably be going up on BitChute due to YouTube's terms and services. I don't want to cause any problems on this platform. They already don't like us political commentators, so we'll do what we can, and I'm going to do what I can to get everything from the event out to you for you could see it. You could see the peaceful protests. You could see the people that generally would not stand hand in hand, standing hand in hand. It was truly inspiring, truly a thing of beauty. I would love to hear your comments, and as always, like, share, and subscribe. I will catch you all on the flip side.